Please all rise for the Honorable Judge Ocean. Please continue standing for the national anthem of the UCM. Thank you. You may be seated. Right. Good evening. Today we are here at this hearing for the impeachment article passed by Minority Leader and Secretary of State Evan against President Ever. This is how tonight's hearing is going to proceed. I will first make an opening statement, and both sides will have the chance to make a statement. Then we'll move on to witness statements, which we sadly will not have any witnesses tonight. Then we'll move on to questions from both prosecutors and plaintiffs. For audience members, we welcome you and we respect your interest in being here. In return, we ask you for your respect as we proceed with tonight's hearing. It is with the intention of the judge to proceed without disruptions. As judge, I will take all necessary and appropriate steps to maintain order in the courtroom. And with that, I introduce myself to give the opening speech for the impeachment for Ever is a Cutie, the second president of the United States of Minecraft. In late June of 2021, President Ever issued a statement, joking or not, stating that the government was to issue weapons of mass destruction. This led the world into a DEFCON 2 situation where we almost went to war. The questions brought to this impeachment inquiry are whether President Ever sought to exploit the vulnerability of the realm as no other country had produced said weapons of mass destruction, and if President Ever sought to use this situation to help with his re-election campaign, as the president was the one to resolve the situation and calm tensions later on. If so, the president will have been found guilty of the first charge against him under the UCM law, where he abused the power of office of presidency and sought to be unfit to serve. The matter is as simple but yet as terrible. After the answers have been concluded, we will have to move forward to late August of 2021, when King Ocean issued a statement in which he announced he has banished President Ever from the land of England for disobeying and dishonoring multiple laws. Tensions grew, and the most powerful relationship of the realm was being held on by thin rope. The questions brought up in this inquiry are whether President Ever sought to destroy the allegiance the two countries have in between each other, and if the president was conspiring against the king trying to take over the nation. If so, President Ever will have been found guilty for multiple charges made against him by the King of England, and are as followed: trespassing on foreign soil, disobeying foreign laws, and conspiracy against the king. Our answers to these questions will not only affect the future of the presidency, but the future of this presidency itself. And whatever conduct or misconduct the UCM people may expect from their commander in chief. If President Ever is found guilty of any of these charges, he will automatically be deemed unfit to carry on his term in the office of presidency for the UCM and will be discharged of his duties, including his administration. I now recognize Secretary of State Evan for if he wished to make an opening statement. Thank you.
I do. So, President Ever, it has been a disastrous first term. There are 4 charges being pushed against you. First of all, abuse of power, which the Supreme Court Justice pushed. Firstly, again, treating King Ocean of England. He said this, quote, "I technically rule over you, so I can do whatever I want." So this basically shows that you have no respect for your territories, and especially this shows as our relations are deteriorating worldwide. Secondly, and this is probably the biggest one, is being unfit to serve. You're incredibly inactive. First of all, you're not even prepared for the court. You have no pre-message. You have nothing written to get ready. You have nothing. You haven't even prepared. Secondly, there's the secession crisis. You've done nothing. The World Trade Center, we had to beg you to do something. The war crisis, you did nothing to resolve it. Our cabinet had to beg you to do anything. Thirdly, dereliction of duty. Again, you're a commander in chief, so this does apply to you. You've just not been doing your duty, and this does go under being unfit to serve. As again, you have taken little action, and you've almost created pretty much a tyrannical government. And lastly is warmongering. Again, you made the threat of saying that we're going to create weapons of mass destruction, and this definitely did not help our relations with the lower territories. And we've just not had a good stint, especially with our other territories, and with diplomacy. It's been a disaster in this administration. But that is our opening statement.
Right. Thank you, Secretary of State Evan. I would like to say that you did say your charges that were against him under the UCM law. Now, President Ever, you do have a chance to make your opening statement.
So, all cases, all saying that why I should be in, office, very big, and, I'm gonna respond to it. There's in court. I'm gonna do my best to prove why, why I should stay here. And really, I know all of them like the warmongering. But like I said, those have been some time since then. And, I've tried, I've done my best to improve since then. And the England thing, very much, I don't remember even saying that. It might have been wrong with those cases, but I know it wasn't that vague. That's all I said.
Right. Opening statements have been concluded. Now we're going to read off the full entirety of the charges that are going against President Ever, starting with the ones under the UCM law. The first charge is abuse of power. Second charge, dereliction of duty. Third charge, warmongering. Fourth charge, unfit to serve. Now, these are the charges that you have against you under the law of the land of England. Trespassing on foreign soil. Disobeying banishment from foreign soil. Conspiracy against the king. Charges against you from the land of Solemn Mari. Trespassing. Now, in tonight's case, we are going to debate and see if you are in fact guilty for any of these charges against you. And it will be up to me as judge to give the most unbiased charges against you. Now, I would like to say this before proceeding. If you are found guilty for any of these charges, you will be immediately discharged from your duties until further notice. Um, Vice President will be in fact immediately uh, until the vote is casted in at the Capitol. Now, do you agree with these terms, Mr. President? Okay. Now, let's do this. Starting off with abuse of power. Uh, Starting off with the prosecution. The prosecutioners. My bad. Do you have any evidence showing the abuse of power, Secretary of State Evan?
Yes.
All right. You may proceed um, with your evidence, but first I may ask you to please stand up and take the oath. Repeat after me. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony that you are about to give in case now on trial is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
Yes, sir.
All right, you may continue.
President Ever, do you recall being issued a statement from King Ocean banishing you from the land of England, but you violated this banishment?
Let me restate the rules. You are able to unmute yourself when you're asked a question. Um, if not, you must stay muted. So, President Ever, you may unmute yourself and respond. All right. I feel like he's not there right now. We're gonna see real quickly. Um, all right. While we wait for him to come back, I'm gonna continue the rules since I have not stated all of them. Uh, Both prosecutioner and plaintiff have the right to call a 5-minute recess 2 times during this case. Each one cannot be. Uh, if you call one, you cannot call a second recess 10 minutes after. It has to be 20 minutes after the first recess is called to call the second one. Um, believe that's all. All right.
Yeah, Annie's in the room anymore. I can kick her out.
All right. You can repeat. You can repeat your question, Secretary of State, for President Ever.
President Ever, do you recall getting a basically a statement from King Ocean saying that you are banished from the land of England until further notice, and when you got this, you still trespassed and disobeyed this order? Do you recall this?
Yes.
Okay. Your original response was, yeah, as a joke. This is the presidency of the United Cities, and this is surely not a joking matter, and it is definitely not good to see this behavior. Um, the territories they hold reserved powers, and they have every right to, if you're especially committing crimes or causing trouble, they have every right to make this move, and especially you disobeying, goes under an abuse of power.
Okay.
Sorry,
Also,
I'm gonna have to step in right here. So, are you, President Ever, are you confessing that you did commit the crime of trespassing on foreign soil?
Who's cooking? What you say? Here.
I'm gonna repeat myself. I said, did you just confess on the crime that you committed, that you trespassed on foreign soil?
See, this is the thing. This is how it went. Ocean, me and Ocean, we was joking. I think while I was at the Barrier where the statue
I'm
was
sorry.
eventually built.
I'm gonna have to stop you there. I'm just asking a yes or no question. We'll ask for your testimony in a second. Did you just confess to the crime of trespassing on foreign soil?
Yeah, but he needs context. He needs context.
Okay, so you did confess to committing that crime. All right. Um,
Yeah.
Secretary of State, carry on your statement, and then we'll hear uh President Evers' testimony. You may continue.
Do you feel that, or what did you feel like when King Ocean issued um this I guess action against you, banishing you from the land of England until further notice? What was your reaction, and what did you feel and your authority that you had against this?
Well, I was joking around about boxing, and after some time, you could, banish me. I did. I was like, dang, wow, but after some further thinking, I let him decide. I let him, have it. I was gonna keep going after it. I still went after my boxing match, but hey,
I see. Do you and you? So I'm taking this from you. You basically didn't really take this seriously, and you totally felt, I guess, being the federal government, that you had almost no limitations and you could still see the King of England and still go on his soil, right?
oh, I did take the banishment serious. I did take it.
Then why did you trespass?
Well, like I said, I wanted to still get my boxing match. Still haven't got it. 6 rounds, 3 minutes. That's all I want.
Sir, that's legit. That's conspiracy against the king. That's I think Judge Ocean here can say that you might be confessing to that too. I mean, I can't say anything for the judge, but
All
I
right.
think that's definitely something.
Order in the court. Right. We're not gonna get ahead of ourselves right now. President Ever, are you confessing to the crime of conspiracy against the King of England? Are you
If I
confessing?
hate my boxing match, then it'll be a yes. That's all.
All right. So I see that you are not taking this seriously. I'm gonna call a 5-minute recess to gather your things together, President Ever. And when I come back, I want to hear a good reason. 5-minute recess. 5-minute recess, effective immediately. Alright, you guys have 1 minute and 40 seconds. Please start taking your seats. Alright, if you guys are ready, please tell me you are, and we'll call the recess early. We still have 1 minute.
Aye.
President Ever, are you ready?
Still ran down my comeback.
Alright. I'm calling this recess early. 1 minute spared. It will be applied to the next recess. Right. Court is back in session. Now, President Ever, I called a 5-minute recess to gather your things together. Are you ready to make your statement?
Yeah.
Alright. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony that you are about to give in case now on trial is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God?
Show me that.
Alright, come up, sir.
So, like I said, with this case, about what's going on, conspiracy against the king, it's a boxing match. I don't think that it should be taking that. Oh, he's being serious by this. It's a boxing match. It's literally saying, yeah, box me. Like imagine saying, yeah, box me. It's a joke, like a joke against YouTube boxers, but I don't think it should be taken serious. Not that big a deal.
Secretary of State, you have a chance to respond to President Ever's statement. Now is your chance.
That is by far the most absurd response I've heard. Ruling a country is not a joke. It is not a joke at all. Maybe if you guys have maybe a little meeting and you guys maybe decide on a sports match like that, then so be it. Like if you guys are ruling your country well, and maybe it's for fun, I guess I get that, but there's a lot of dirt against you, Mr. President. So I don't know if this boxing match of yours is any joking matter.
Alright. I would like to add that um, although the office of presidency is not easy, there could have been more diplomatic ways to resolve the situation. Um, but we are moving on to the next charge. If we are still on the laws under the land of England, we are moving on to the next charge, which is we covered the first charge, which was trespassing on foreign soil. We will now be moving on to conspiracy against the king, starting off with Secretary of State Evan. The floor is yours, sir.
Be fair, we kind of covered this earlier. But what made you want to have a boxing match with King Ocean?
What made me want to have a boxing match with Ocean was, like I said, what's called. We had a what's called. Ocean, remember this? Harvey was in there. We was having an argument, and I started saying. I think at the end of the argument, I started saying, "Box me, boxing." Acting like Jake Paul. Saying box. That's where it came from.
That's definitely really good, or I guess really bad diplomacy skills if a conversation's going like that, and I guess you resolve to physical force. That's not good. So have there been any other instances where you wanted to, I guess, resolve an argument, or I guess for fun, have a boxing match with an executive or a governmental official?
The boxing match thing was a joke, but like I said, the way that me and Ocean, worked up is, I gifted him statue. He knows the boxing match thing. I was actually boxing to settle our differences. It was probably just a joke. That's why I said it. And I did my best, and I was thinking about what should I give to him. So I give to him a statue. No matter what, if it would have ended up, I wouldn't apologize in that way. I would apologize to something else. It was just something that I was gonna use. Oh, I'm gonna joke around about boxing. That's what I was gonna say.
But the problem is that you've made these mistakes before. You've said these quote unquote jokes, especially with the missile crisis, um, and some of these other crises. You've made jokes, and it gets out really bad to some of our foreign leaders. So especially how we're doing so bad diplomatically is because I guess these so-called jokes or statements you're making, and obviously the foreign leaders we have here, they're taking this very, very seriously, as they should, and they take governing very seriously. So they take your statements pretty seriously. Maybe you can make maybe like the statue, I guess, was a good gesture, but still sometimes there's some countries that are very, very unforgiving.
Thank you, Secretary of State. Please take your seat. Now, we have addressed um, all charges against President Ever for the land of England. I'm gonna repeat those charges one more time before moving on to the charges that he has against him under the law of the UCM. The charges that you have been accused of under the law of England are trespassing on foreign soil, disobeying banishment from foreign soil, and conspiracy against the king. Now, I'd also like to add my apologies tonight. I can't be pronouncing anything correctly. But moving on, I'm gonna read out your charges against against the president of the UCM under the law of the UCM, and then I'm gonna reinstate the introduction. The charges against you are as followed: abuse of power, dereliction of duty, warmongering, and unfit to serve the office of presidency. Now, in late June of 2021, you, President Ever, issued a statement, joking or not, that the government was to issue weapons of mass destruction. This sent the whole entire world into a nearly DEFCON 3 situation, where we almost went to war. The question is, do you, President Ever, agree with this statement?
I agree.
You agree that you put the United Cities of Minecraft and the rest of the world in jeopardy.
Yeah.
Okay. That by itself says enough, but we are going to continue with this topic, and only this topic. I like to remind you, we are only staying on the topic of DEFCON 2 right now. Starting off with Secretary of State Evan prosecuting President Ever. The floor is yours, Evan.
President Ever, the statement that you said, I'll quote you, the government would issue weapons of mass destruction. Was this a joke or was this seriousness?
It was. I think the thing. It was not serious. It was not serious. No, it was serious. No, not. Dang. Talk. No, it was a joke.
That was a pretty long and hesitant response, but okay, it is this year. But did you issue this statement? You didn't really give me a clear answer.
It was a joking matter. I was not really what's called big nukes. I don't even know how to make nukes. I don't have nukes. So yeah, I think that could be a what's called. I was gonna do anything.
Okay. I'm quoting from the leader Salmari Dash. This was his basically response to the nuclear crisis, and he basically said or enforced his lockdown state of his territory. He stated that President Ever was making a military base, which we all found to be true. Um, so what were you doing with this military base during this crisis?
This military base was being built because someone I promised. I promised literally I think on the first day on my turn about building hospitals, police stations, all of that, and a that was part of that plan. I guess I didn't understand that was not being made so that it was being made strictly for what I mentioned for mentioned the law. I forgot. I think it was the police hospital. All of that. That's that's why it was being made.
Okay. What is your if I mean, I guess you have some rights of privacy, but what are your opinions on um basically the land of Salmari here? What is your opinion on basically the officials there? And are you at the point diplomatically, or at least at that point, that maybe you were considering declaring war or making any actions against the land of Salmari?
I would like to call off that statement as it's going off topic. You can ask that statement in our next topic, which will proceed. Um, President Ever, do you have anything to say to those statements before we move on to the next topic? The next, yes, the next topic.
The statements Evan just made. No war was gonna be ever standard. It's dumb. It would have been smart. I knew by no war was gonna happen. It was I think Gentleman. I think it all started when what's called and I think it all started when I forgot who was building was talking about building a nuclear thing. It was not supposed to go for anymore. No wars was to start off it. Yeah, what I said.
Thank you, Mr. President. Secretary of State, you can take your seat. I'd like to thank both of y'all for your patience. Moving on to the next topic. Do you, President, ever agree to this statement that you trespassed on the land of Solimari to um give me 1 second. Sorry for the interruption. Do you agree with the statement that you trespassed on the land of Solimari, um, trying to get intel on military or just trying to get intel at all?
Hell, I was not doing that. My strict thing was doing it. I remember I think doing like the vice president at the time, Ocean. I
But
think it was the first
you
time,
but you do agree that you did trespass.
but not on that terms. It was not on those terms. I was not doing it to get military intel. It would have been dumb. Like I said, I was going to do war anyway. So why would I do
Um, right. We'll let Secretary of State Evan respond to that. But before I let that happen, we are having some audience in today's court case. There he is. Where is he? Oh, there he is. Yeah, he is. He is a uh governmental figure, so he will be sitting here next to me. Um, I'm actually gonna present him. This is five-star General Star. He will be in tonight's court case. He will not be speaking. Instead, he will just be watching over, making sure that tonight we get an unbiased opinion. Now, Secretary of State Evan, would you like to respond to President Ever's statement on trespassing on more foreign soil on Salamari?
President Ever, um, do you think, or what was your opinion when the officials of Salamari released basically where they were I guess try to come up with the right word. I guess they were kind of secluding themselves and they only allowed a select people in. What was your opinion on this statement?
I respect it. They want their privacy. I ain't going to what's called and say it was bad. You know, at the time I was just getting into office, so I was doing dumb stuff. Trespassing. He said, so I get why they would want to do it. I get why they would want to what's called exclude themselves. And I think it was smart because, it made me, from that day on, start doing, not trespassing on someone. Because I now have a lot more respect for Heartbeat. I have a lot of respect for all the leaders. And what's called Salamari.
So I'm gonna have to interrupt right there. So you do agree that you did trespass on Solimari land,
Yeah, everyone knows that. I did. Everyone knows that. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna
and
fight it. Everyone
you
knows.
you were fully aware that that is a federal crime in in the land of Solimari.
Yeah.
Okay, that is all that we need. We're moving on to our next topic. Um, give me a second here. Our next topic is our next charge, I may say. So we did abuse of power. Next charge is dereliction of duty. Starting off with Secretary of State Evan if he has any evidence against him.
President ever. When the missile crisis or the let me get this. Or the whole crisis with King Ocean or any of the crises that happened during your term, and I guess let me also the World Trade Center crisis as well. What was your what was your thought um to basically what what did you feel like in the sense of doing your duty? Like what did you feel had to be done to resolve these crises?
So the World Trade Center incident, I think, happened. I think in the middle or like near the start of my anything. I had my plans. If how what should be done with how buildings should be built and safety laws. All right, I had a bunch of things planned, but I was still on my break, so what's called again. I didn't really say anything. That's it. What's called again. That's my response.
But like you have a like you should at least say something, say I'm here. Um say something to assure the people. Um you have it like this is your duty. Like it comes first. Like this is your duty, this is your job. You consented to this heavy job and I bet there's plenty of people across this country who will actually if there's a crisis like this will immediately step in or at least say is I understand breaks, but at least step in and say, I'm going to handle this. I'm going to do my job. Like, there should be some sense of urgency to get your duty done and assure the people.
I said something. Let me just go find. Let me find the thing. But I know I remember saying something. I remember being told, say something. I remember I did say something about it. That's the thing.
Um, Secretary of State Evan has nothing more to add. We'll wait for President
Sir,
Ever
I do. I do. I'm just waiting for the president to finish his statement
Yeah,
as he's looking for evidence.
Alright, then
I am getting it. I'm just kidding.
the charge will continue.
President's in the president's office. This is what I told Secretary of State say. This is what I read. I come here today to share the news of what happened in Nashville with the burning of the Trade Center Tower. My condolences go out to the victims' families since they need it the most at this moment. We will hope to make sure no tragedy like this happens by making sure the safety rules are being followed and preventing design flaws. A huge condolence to the first responders for doing their utmost duty in saving people and stopping the fire. President, that's what I said.
Mr. President, I had to text you and I had to beg you to come out with a statement, and I texted that for you. So technically, I did all the work pretty much. But I guess it does count as a statement 3 days late. But yes. I have nothing more, Judge.
Nothing more to say, Secretary of State? Do you have anything else to add to that, President Ever?
No.
All right. I would like to add that we are being in presence of five-star General Star and the leader of Salamari Dash as audience members. I'd like to tell the audience that we respect their views as politics and way of thinking, and that we ask them to respect us and to not disturb. Moving on to the next um, to the next charge against you, President Ever, warmongering. May the prosecutor please come to the floor. Floor is now yours.
President Ever, what have you done after the missile crisis? Of the so-called weapons of mass destruction. You might not have any, but maybe you made one, or you've done something of the sort, or just something militarily that you can consider as an action against some country or territory.
I did literally zero things of mass destruction. Like you said, at the moment, I'm still building my what's called military base, which was not for this year. I think I just finished making the runway and I started working on the hangar. So nothing was being newly made in that place. Nothing was made. I made no mass destruction. Nothing.
Um, I would like to interrupt. I want to add that you are both under oath, and any lie told in this courtroom will be counted as treason against the UCM government. Now, if I recall correctly, and please correct me if I'm wrong, President Ever, if I recall correctly, you stated that you have produced weapons of mass destruction when I asked you if the statement was correct earlier. Do you or do you not agree to the statement?
I didn't make anything of mass destruction. That's the thing. I didn't make it.
Well, the problem is that earlier you said that you did not make earlier you stated that yes, it was true that you issued a statement saying the government was producing weapons of mass destruction, and now you're denying it. So what is it?
But
What
it
is it,
was
Mr. President?
nothing was ever created. That's the thing. I'm trying to say. I did not do anything. I did not make no mass destruction. There was nothing made. That's the thing.
Okay, I'll let it slide this time, but please next time, state the whole entire thing when it's asked, please. Sorry for the interruption. Secretary of State Evan, you may continue.
So, when asked about having weapons of mass destruction, um, you did say you have produced weapons of mass destruction. What has happened to these so-called weapons produced of mass destruction? Have they been destroyed? Have they been hidden? What has happened to these weapons?
These weapons, if they were so-called creative, would probably destroy it. Most likely, what would probably happen? I would have been destroyed.
Why don't you know? Why don't you know?
Because they were not made.
But why would you say that that the UCM has created weapons of mass destruction?
Oh, I don't remember saying that. We go screw create.
All right, we're circling in a loop here. This is ridiculous, Mr. President. Do you or do you not recall stating that you made weapons of mass destruction?
I do not restate me saying that.
But earlier you did state it. So are you lying under oath, Mr. President? Or are you just confused about the question?
I'm confused by the question. So, I'm confused.
Are you hiding something, Mr. President?
No. Not gonna hide.
Secretary of State, anything else to add? I'm just trying to add
Not
a
really.
I'm
Not really, Judge. I think you covered most of the stuff. I think.
Thank you, Secretary of State. You can take your seat. I'm just trying to add up. As judge, it is my duty to give out the correct charges, and I'm just trying to add up. Earlier, you stated that yes, indeed, you did release that statement from the White House saying that the government was producing weapons of mass destruction, and now you are denying the whole truth. Did you or did you not, Mr. President?
Chief, I think that I got confused on making masters and masterings were made. I think was I think I was been confused on the question. Now I'm thinking about I'm thinking about why I'm confused and like I said, I don't remember making a statement. Like I said, it could have happened, but no master structures, nothing was made. That was thing. I probably was saying it, but you know, I probably didn't say I probably didn't actually make it.
That's a good point. President, or I don't know if I should call you President, leader of Salamari. Um, sorry. The leader of Salamari has his rights to be concerned for the safety of his citizens and for the country because I don't want to sound rude, Mr. President, but your statements aren't adding up. Are you Do you have any evidence stating that you in fact do not uh have any weapons of mass destruction in possession right this second, right now?
On this day, no mass production, no mass destruction, nothing is in my arsenal. Nothing was created, nothing I have. Nowhere. Zero.
So you are stating, in fact, there are no weapons of mass destruction in this country right now.
Yes.
Secretary of State Evan, have anything to add?
Yes, sir. As Secretary of State and under our presidential administration, it is usually pretty mandatory that you consult um, your cabinet, and at least you should give them some say or indicate to them what you're planning on doing. So here, where I don't know, I cannot quite tell where you're going with this. You're going and kind of what the judge did a loop, and you're saying you stated that the government has had weapons of mass destruction and have created it, in fact. And at the time, you never gave me any indication, me as Secretary of State, that you've created any. So I really like with that being said, are you hiding something from me? Are you hiding something from the ever administration that it's just you're keeping this personally to yourself?
No. My nothing. The person I think that you can really ask, or if I have anything mass structure, is mentally my vice president, because that's someone I talk to a lot. Every time when I'm talking about the building hangar, she would know. I was talking about building, stuff in Miami, she would know. So you can ask her. I had nothing mass structure.
Okay. Unfortunately, she is not a witness, so I cannot do that. But um, it's pretty much all I have. But I think you should consult with your whole administration, not just the vice president.
I have one more thing to add to this topic before we move on to your um to the final uh charge under the law of the United Cities. I've been having concern from all the leaders around the world, and this is just absurd. Um, Mr. President, uh, do you deny that you possibly could have issued that statement uh in need to intimidate Salamari? The statement
Mm,
about the weapons of mass destruction. Did you try to intimidate Salamari?
well, probably, I don't know. Alright. think so. Well, let's say it was going. I don't know. Maybe I was doing it as a joking matter, but maybe it's. I say, being honest, probably, probably.
All right, Mr. President, I need a clear answer because
I
it sounds
said
like
no.
a no. All right, because you said probably, so I was confused there. So you deny the fact that you tried to intimidate Soleimani with using the statement that the government was producing weapons of mass destruction.
No, I don't care about intimidating. No, I don't.
All right. Anything to add, Secretary of State, before moving to the final charge against President Ever under the UCM law?
Yes, sir. One more thing. President Ever, why would you resort to making a statement like this when at this time relations with Soleimani were deteriorating and instead of using diplomacy, you took this very militaristic and very destructive action?
I said I'm not a joking person. I like to joke around a lot. Everyone knows that I joke around very very much. So really, let's call them. It was probably what's it the military thing. I for that time been a joke. I was just joking around with everything. I like joking around. That's basically what it was a joke.
Mr. President, people are you saying people's lives are a joke? Like this can kill thousands of thousands of people. Like this could destroy the whole territory of Solimari. Like this is not a joking matter at all. Like like
All right.
sir, are you really
Let's bring order back into the court. Um, I'd like to add on a personal note. We can have fun, Mr. President. We can have fun, Mr. President. But there's a point where we have to draw the line between a joke and a threat against thousands of people. Um, Talking in real life terms, I know this may just be a game, but we are trying to make this the most realistic thing as possible. And in real world scenarios, if the president of the United States right now would have issued a nuclear threat against, let's say, England, we would all be dead by now. Like the leader Soleimani says, there's a point where we draw the line. Uh, you're you're 50 miles over the line, sir. No disrespect, but it's true. Anything else to add, Secretary of State? This is your final moment before moving on.
no sir?
All right, we are moving on to the final charge. After this charge, I'm calling a 5-minute recess, and then we're gonna do the final charge against President Ever, which is under the law of Soleimani. Now, this final charge, the fourth charge against you under the laws of the United Cities of Minecraft, is a bit to serve in the office of presidency. Secretary of State, the floor is yours.
All right, this is definitely I think one of the most a lot of evidence against you. Firstly, you're very inactive in office. Most of the times I have to, as Secretary of State, have to call you and I have to brief you most of the time. And you cannot brief yourself or you've not I have to if there's a crisis, I have to tell you of it and I have to beg you to take action. And also you're very inactive and you don't seem to take the role seriously, as even before this case you had no notes to prepare. You did not prepare at all. um you just do not seem to take this job seriously. You make jokes, especially like earlier again about thousands of lives, and you don't seem to care.
Yeah.
Anything to respond, President Ever? Do you have at this point anything at all to defend yourself.
Oh, right. So I was writing some down. Write some down real quick.
You're writing something down? Okay.
Okay, so wait. Answer. Repeat the question. Yeah.
President ever. Okay, so basically, during your 2 terms in office, you have been very, very inactive on the realm, and this shows that you're unfit to serve. As multiple times when during the state of crisis, um, you take no action on the crisis, or you have no idea of it, and if you do take action, it is usually from the pressure of the international community and of me, and sometimes King Ocean as well, as he has had a pretty good relationship with you. Um, this also shows with your unfittingness to serve, you've made many jokes that are above the line and are way too serious to be called a joking matter. This just shows you do not understand the duties you have at hand. What is your response, Mr. President?
Like I said, most of the acts, like I said, except what's called in the charges on my first term. Like I said, I think my second term starting. I think I've done that. I think I'm thinking way better than my first. Like I said, because when I look back at my first, I think it wasn't that smart of me. That's what I'd say.
But in your second term, I think you've been arguably the most inactive. So honestly, maybe yes, I think you have kind of limited the mistakes a little bit in a way, but you've been very, very inactive and very just you haven't been doing anything, haven't been a take charge type person. You just have not been really doing anything with your duties. And if anything, you usually abuse your power or you strive over the line with a joke and the world's on crisis.
Anything to add to that, Mr. President?
Oh, I'm just I'm looking at my what's called. Looking at something real quick. Yeah, I know. I joke around a lot. That's why, like I said, after this term, I wanted what's called in to show my aim because I'm there. I can just joke around, a lot because what's called in. I won't have to. I just go over my. I just control Miami. That's why. What's called. I'm planning on retiring for good after this term. So yeah.
Mr. President, I think to be fair, like you might be considering to retire, but still, you again have not really. There's I bet a lot of more people here in this realm or in this country who will understand and accept the amount of duties they have as president of the United States, and I think you should consider to yourself, with dragging this all out. I think you should personally consider resigning, because to be fair, there's too much evidence. And if you're going to give a half hearted effort at this important job, this clearly shows you're unfit to serve and that you do not take your duties seriously.
Um, Mr. President, if you have nothing to add, I would like to add a personal note.
I'll just write them down. You can do that. Do it so real quick.
You are fighting a fight that is not gonna go out well for you. You are the minnow, and you are being eaten up by sharks. This is, in my personal opinion, if I give you my honest opinion, this is a fight. If you continue it, it will not be a pleasant fight. It will be an ugly way to go out in office. That's all I have to say.
Mr. President, you have a response?
Oh no, I don't. I'm still writing some down.
Okay, if you have nothing to respond, and Secretary of State, if you have nothing to add, do you have anything to add, Secretary of State?
The last thing I'll add is, I guess, especially with all these 4 charges, I think, unfit to serve connects with all 3, as just President Ever just does not understand, does not care, um, just takes this job lightly, um, just does not, he doesn't plan anything, he doesn't, there's nothing, he doesn't do his job, and I think really like when we've been in a constant mode of crisis for pretty much almost all of Ever's term, or I guess Ever's from June of this year all the way to now, end of September. We've almost been in constant crisis or crisis every week or two. This is just again showing the unfittingness to serve, and he President Ever shows very, very little resolve to get things done, especially when we're in a mode of crisis. He doesn't go to the other leaders, and at least he doesn't go to Dash and ask for forgiveness, or he doesn't try to get things done internationally and try to get meetings done to repair relationships. He does none of that. He doesn't. He honestly, I hate to say, he doesn't really, other than Miami, he doesn't really spend time in other counties or just half-hearted effort. Like, what's your response to that, Mr. President? Like, it really shows you're unfit.
Nothing.
Okay. Thank you, Secretary of State Evan. Tonight has not been a night that represents this country. Um, I feel like tonight is just a dishonor to the flag behind you, to the flags behind of me, and
Lag out. Lag out.
like I was saying, I feel like tonight is just a dishonorable night to the flags behind of you and behind of me. These flags represent hard work, freedom, and liberty. And tonight, obviously, none of those things are represented in this courtroom. It is ridiculous that we have to go through this process, but as judge, I have to keep my mouth shut. Um, we're calling a 5-minute recess, effective immediately. When we come back, we're going to do the final prosecution for trespassing on Salamari. Although the leader Salamari wishes not to be wishes that this charge not be prosecuted, I feel like it should still go into action. So we're gonna still talk about it. 5-minute recess, effective right now.
Judge. Excuse me, Judge.
Yes.
I may ask for an extra minute or two of or not. Sorry, my game did freeze on me for a second.
We
Excuse that.
we do have an extra minute of recess if you do want to add it.
No, sir. Excuse that.
Okay. Well, the recess has been concluded. Court is back in session. Thank you all. I'd like to thank all of y'all tonight for um keeping this in an orderly fashion, for not behaving like children tonight, instead of acting like politicians. I'd like to thank all of y'all. Now, we're moving on to the final charge against the President of the United States ever. This would be uh, his eighth charge against him. It's trespassing on foreign soil, which is the land of Solemn Mari. Um, Secretary of State Evan will be representing Solemn Mari. Evan, the floor is yours.
President ever. So when the leader of Salamari Dash issued the statement which said you could not enter the land of Salamari, what were your thoughts on it?
I think I mentioned this earlier in this that I respected it, and I didn't get mad at it. I just was going to respected it.
So why did you feel the need to trespass and disobey this law?
Let's go them. I think let's go. I remember doing it. It was what's called again. I remember acting because it was playing for an overnight challenge. That's what I did. I guess it was on my mind. Took around with that.
Mr. President, these laws and rules that are made by governing officials, especially the executives of these territories and countries, they should be respected and not taken as a joke. This is a clear sign of abuse of power and totally showing you're unfit, and you seem to see as the highest office of this land as a joke. It's totally unacceptable.
Anything to add to that, Mr. President?
Oh, I'm just trying to eat my what's going on. Food right here. Food.
Okay. Secretary of State, anything to add?
Yes. May I ask you another question?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. So, were there anything other to this overnight challenge of yours in the land of Salamari? Was there any other plan of yours besides staying overnight? Were there plans of you to kind of look at the land, get intel? What was your goal of this overnight challenge?
Just stay over there and not get caught. There's nothing else.
Okay, so you didn't try to survey their land, survey anything, or just so you're saying it's just you did this for this little trend.
Yeah, I only stayed really in the area that we already what was that? Like the subway or website. Yeah, that's where I was at, really.
Is that all?
One more thing, Mr. President. So, have you done any other acts of trespassing in the land of Salamari,
No.
other than this overnight challenge of yours?
No. The last time was like Sam and Jim. That's the last time. No. Yeah, I gotta say on website. It's good.
Mr. President, I really that's really all, but I guess your response I guess in the chat, I guess even though maybe I'm not supposed to go off that, does that say that you committed another overnight challenge, or was that where you stayed at, since I believe you did it in a certain time when Wubway did not exist.
No, it will say did exist. So when I did, I wrote that. I remember
Okay.
doing that when it happened.
Okay. That is all, Judge.
Thank you, Secretary of State. Tonight was how do I put this? As a judge, as a king, and as a leader, I can diplomatically say that this night was a failure to this country. Um, I, f- I have nothing against you, Mr. President. I feel like you're a swell man with a great personality, but you, this job is not for you. I feel like you are just not made for the office of presidency. And that's being honest. Me being the most kindest. I could have said something way worse. But tonight was a failure, not only to your country, not only to your citizens, but to yourself. I hope you regret your decisions that you've committed. I hope you regret the felonies that you've committed against these countries. Speaking about felonies, these are the official charges that uh that you have against you. These are the official charges. Beginning with the land of England, you are charged with trespassing on foreign soil. That is 6 months in federal prison. Disobeying banishment from foreign soil. That is 1 year in federal prison. Trespassing on the land of Solemn Mari. That is 12 months in federal prison. Abuse of power. That is 3 years in federal prison. Warmongering. 2 years federal prison. And unfit to serve. That is 2 years of federal prison and discharge of duties effective immediately. These charges will be pressed against you unless Congress, House of Representatives, or the Senate see otherwise. You will have to pay for your time in federal prison, either here in the UCM or in the land of England. I wish you the best of luck, Mr. President, as this is a really bad way to go out. Um, in total, let me add it up real quickly. 6, 12, that's 18 months. 18. You have about 7 years in federal prison, sir. These charges can be dropped against you if you resign effective immediately. If you proceed to take this tomorrow to Congress, these charges will stay as if until further notices. I, as a judge, feel like these are the correct punishments for the law, for the crimes you have committed against this, not only this country, but the countries of Solimari and England. May you please take this as a sign to change, as a sign to evolve, not only for yourself, but for the people who love you, and for this country. Once more, I send out my sincere pity to you, and the best of luck. I, as a judge, effective immediately remove all powers that you have as a president until further notice tomorrow and voting. You will no longer have any power over this country. Your Vice President Mixie, will take office until further notice. During this time of discharge, I ask you to please do not take this as a celebration, but take this as a time of reconciliation. I will once more repeat your charges, and this court case will be finalized. Trespassing on foreign soil, 6 months in federal prison. Disobeying banishment from foreign soil, 12 months in federal prison. Trespassing on the land of Solimari, 12 months in federal prison. Abuse of power, I believe I said 24 months in federal prison. Warmongering, 24 months in federal prison. Unfit to serve, 24 months in federal prison. Including these charges, you will be immediately discharged from your powers of office. I wish you the best of luck, Mr. President, and this concludes the court case. If you have anything to add from either side, add it now.
Judge,
Go ahead.
Mr. President, I think you're still not taking the sentence seriously. You think you're not going to get locked up. You are going to get locked up, or you're going to get some punishments. You think this is just a video game and for fun. We're actually going to lock you up in a cell. Yeah, I do not think you'll take it seriously. You might take it seriously for a day or two, and then eventually you're going to just lose. You're going to not take it seriously. That's the repetition of cycles I've seen from you. But it's going to happen, or at least the judge, I think, here is making a proper ruling.
President Ever, you do understand that you're not a free man anymore in this country. You will be put away in jail until tomorrow's voting if you decide to continue. If you resign right now, Mr. President, these charges will be dropped immediately. If you continue to fight for your office, you will be immediately put away in a jail cell until further notice. And if you're convicted of impeachment, you will have to serve the 7 years in federal prison. 7 years is 1 year in the UCM is 4 months in real life time. You would have to spend over 25 months in prison in real time life. So, Mr. President, you have until 8:20 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to make up your mind. If you do not decide by then, you will be sent away to federal prison until further notice. I'm actually going to revise that. You have until 9:15 p.m. 4 minutes. It shouldn't take you this long to decide. You shouldn't have 2 hours to decide. You have 4 minutes to decide. 3 minutes now. Now, I know I've been speaking a lot, but as a friend, I pity you. Thank you for the information, Star. He will be held in federal prison here in Latchport until more prisons are issued. But I'd like you to please comprehend the fact that all your rights and freedoms will be taken away. You will no longer be a president or a citizen of this country. You will only be seen as a criminal. Now, even though if these charges are dropped, they will stay on your file forever. You can resign right now. You can do a dishonorable resign and fail your administration and your country, or not. It's up to you, Mr. President. What is your choice?
Hey, Judge.
Yes, Mr. Secretary of State?
May I remind the president that if he's convicted tomorrow, he still has to serve his sentence, even if he resigns.
I did not know those terms.
Excuse me, Judge. You did say that earlier.
I did.
Um,
I
yes, you
I
did say.
thought. Well, pardon me. I thought I said, if he does resign, he will not have to. He will not have to follow the sentence. But thank you for correcting me. What I meant to state was that if you do resign, you won't have to. You won't have to. Um. You better prepare for Mixie. I'm gonna ignore that text. What I meant to say. Thank you for correcting me, Secretary of State. What I meant to say was, if you do resign, you still have to. You still have to fulfill your sentence, but not to the full. You will probably get at most 2 years in prison, 5 years on patrol. But that's still, how much is that? Like 28 months. That's 8 months in prison. Now I see you're not taking this. I see you're not taking this very seriously, Mr. President. So, acting upon this, um, acting upon this, I'm immediately sending you away to your 7 years in federal prison, and tomorrow we're going to be voting against your administration. This court case is closed. If you have anything to say now, please say it before your rights are taken away. Secretary of State Evan, please say anything before this court case is officially concluded.
Mr. President, about Mixie, about her being inactive, I do agree with that. If she can also resign, and of course the line of secession will continue. And like some of the people have been saying, yes, I will be vice president according to the line of secession. So, of course, if like she has had, especially during the first term of Evers' administration, Mixie was the vice president and then she resigned. Um, so this definitely can show that she's not ready and fit to take the duties of president of the United States. But that is all, Judge.
Mr. President, I am being harsh on you because these are crimes. But if you start taking this seriously, I will be nice to you, Mr. President, and tomorrow's vote won't go against your whole entire administration. But keep acting like this, Mr. President. You're gonna have to serve 7 years in federal prison. I don't think you comprehend the fact that 7 years in federal prison, that's 28 months in real life. Now, Mixie can be president, and she will be sworn in, but she can also resign, making Evan president. So, Ever, what's it gonna be? Are you gonna take this seriously and take the patrol? Take the 2 years in prison and patrol? Or are you gonna take the 7 years? Alright. You never officially said that you resigned. If I'm correct. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Secretary of State. Did he not officially say he would resign?
He did not officially say it. This is how you officially say it. And like you said, it is past the 9:15 time frame. So yes, he did not officially say it.
Okay. I really hate to do this. I've been stalling, but I really hate to do this. Ever, you have been convicted for 7 years in federal prison. You no longer have the title of presidents. All your rights will be stripped away. You will you do have the right to have another court case to shorten your sentence. But until further notice, you will be placed in survival mode in our our high security cell. That is all. You'll finally be transported to your cell. I'm gonna put him in his cell real quickly. In doing so, you are no longer president of the UCM. President Mixie will now serve as commander in chief of the United Cities of Minecraft until further notices. This is a sad way to end your presidency, Mr. Ever. Now, I would like to say before we leave, I am truly sorry to you, Secretary of State Evan, to you, 5-star General Star, and to you, leader of Solimari Dash, that you have to go through this. I, as king, I feel like I failed to achieve the utmost peace, and I truly do apologize. I hope in I hope Mixie being president, things can resolve, or if she resigns and and Vice President Evan becomes president, I hope all things can resolve and go back to normal. I hope our allegiances can be reformed. And I hope we can put all of this behind us. I thank you all for coming in here tonight, and I am once more sorry for the pain that you and your citizens have to endure during this presidency. Thank you and have a good night. We will also play the national anthem for the final time before concluding tonight's court case. Please rise for the national anthem. God bless America. God save the King. And God bless President Mixie. God bless Vice President Evan. Have a good night.